Hi guys, good evening and welcome back once again to The Edward. I'm your host Eddie, and in tonight's video I'll be discussing what I thought of the latest and very good episode of The Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power, which dropped its newest episode this past Friday. I'm not sure if you caught my earlier video from this evening, but I have had a very long, very busy week and a very busier weekend, and I am now finally catching up on all my shows, including this one. So now that's why I'm giving you this video review, even though it may be a little late. I do apologize for the delay. So be warned, like most of my episode reviews, this is a spoiler-filled one, so if you're not caught up on Lord of the Rings by this episode or the previous episode before it, you may not want to keep watching and listening, as I will be discussing spoilers, plot details, character stuff, all that jazz. That being said, you have been warned. Let's dive right back into it. First and foremost, even though it was a tad predictable with the stranger saving the hobbits from the wargs, it was no less awesome. It was very cool. The wargs looked great. That was an awesome attack sequence, them chasing the hobbits around. That was very cool. At least I think they were wargs. I kept calling them wolves, but I believe they were wargs, right? Yeah, because in Middle-earth, they got different names for the same thing. But yeah, that was pretty cool. Not sure what the whole touching the water and turning into ice and his arm becoming ice and then her hand becoming ice was about. That was a bit odd. I'm not sure if that was supposed to mean anything. It was interesting finding that group of people, that group of sorcerer-looking people who seemed to find the crash site of where the stranger first made impact back in the first episode. So I'll be curious to see what becomes of that scene, what they're setting up there. And it feels like the storylines are all really starting to coincide with one another, like they're all starting to slowly merge together. We have finally left Numenor, because I'm like, about damn time, finally this guy, got off his ass and embraced his role as king of the Southlands and dressed himself up nice, got armor on and everything, and now is going to be the king that his people so badly need, considering half of them now have joined the orcs. And that old man most likely killed his friend to prove his loyalty to the orcs. And then leaving only like a handful of people behind, along with our heroic elf and his human love interest. And now at least they know the truth, that the kid's got that sword handle, which looks like Sauron's sword, or maybe it's a sword just like Sauron's, but it's most likely Sauron's actual sword, or at least its handle. So we'll see what happens there. But man, I'm glad we finally got out of Numenor. Not that it was boring or uninteresting. It's just that I knew they were building up to an exodus from Numenor with an army to eventually go to Middle-earth to help Galadriel. And I'm just glad it finally happened. Speaking of Galadriel, I really love the scene where she completely shows up all of the soldiers by kicking their asses in combat. Although one of them did manage to cut her sleeve on her piece of clothing to indicate a wound or a kill if had this been an actual fight between them and an orc. But watching her kick ass was so fun and so satisfying, just to remind us and show us what a truly skilled warrior she really is. And I'm also glad that she and Halbrand basically got to confront some bitter truths about themselves. We still don't know why he ended up on that raft or what he did that he thinks is so unforgivable his own people and Galadriel wouldn't have him or want anything to do with him. But I guess we'll find out in due time. But I did love the pace of this episode. This felt like a very well-balanced episode of excitement and storytelling and drama. And it feels like things are all starting to come to a head finally. Like, it's been a slow build up in the first couple episodes, but I did enjoy how it's starting to all come to a head. And I really liked the awkward dinner scene between Durin and the elves, especially with his little crack about how it takes him a week to take a shit or something like that. And then he tricks the elves into hand delivering the super heavy table back to the dwarves. He makes up some story about how it was sacrilegious the way they were using it. Because in the scene, you're like, oh, damn, yeah, that's bad that they're doing that. Oh, shoot, that's awful. How could they do that? And then later, Elrond figures out, you made all that up, didn't you? That was great. I also loved how Elrond got to tell his friend, without breaking his oath, about the truth about his visit, because he didn't know his father had other ideas. until the Elf King told him so. And then Durin actually seemed quite forgiving, or at least understandable about it, especially when he realized that the fate of the elves could very well rest in whatever happens with the Mithril. So it'll be interesting what happens there. So this was a great episode. I really liked it, as I hope you guys did too. What did you think of it? I'd love to hear your thoughts and feelings on it. Thank you so much for watching. Have an awesome rest of your night. The Lord of the Rings of Power, drops new episodes every Friday and Thursday night on Amazon Prime. Have a great rest of your night, everyone. Thanks for watching. And of course, until next time, may the Force be with you.